I remember the words of one woman. She says, "Look at me." I said, "Look at me." "Well, what do you say?" I told the truth. It hurts the eyes to look at her. She really is a beauty. Beautiful face. Beautiful figure. You could practically put her on a pedestal. Truly a beauty in every way. Perfect beauty. I say, it hurts the eyes. She says, "That's exactly the question. Your eyesight is fine. I don't even wear glasses. So are all the other men blind, or what? Why am I alone and not married? Why? Why does no one see it except you?" Of course, she wasn't thrilled with my answer, not the one she wanted to hear. My wife barely tolerates me as it is. Then she says, "You should see my friends, freaks and idiots. Such fools, such ugly women. It's unbelievable. They're all married, all had children long ago. And here I am. Here I am. And as you can see, alone, she's nearing 40. What's the matter? I have a specific question. What's wrong with men's eyesight? That was her question. And if she had been praying, if she had prayed before, she might have said, "Why doesn't God give it to me? He gave it to fools and ugly women, but not to me, a smart, beautiful woman. What's the reason?" In this case, I had to say it plainly. I told her, "My dear Barry, even if you were covered in several more tons of gold, I would still refuse you." Why? Because of her opinion of herself. Everyone around her is a fool and ugly. Everyone, she alone, is unique, incomparable. What pride, what self-importance lives in a person like that? And men, in fact, see quite well. Who needs such a proud woman with such a view of herself? Someone who would poison an entire life. She would demand divine worship around the clock. She would ruin a man's life through that. That's why they shy away from her like from a scarecrow in a field. She is ugly and foolish, but not in her outward appearance. In her character, in her way of living, in her attitude toward herself. She has placed herself on the pedestal of a goddess. She considers herself the very best, or at least one of the best. I said, "Men must have good eyesight." They looked closely at you and decided you're not needed. If she prayed, "Lord, when will it happen?" then it would happen when she changes. Such decoration of a dump no one needs, even with all her outward brilliance. That is why the Lord does not give her a husband, so she would not poison some man's life and completely lock herself into her own sense of divinity. He takes her with love and tenderness, even if it feels like being dragged face down on the asphalt, with love and tenderness, so that she might understand. For example, as the Apostle Paul writes, "Your wives, Christian women, should adorn themselves." Do you hear what the Bible says? It says women must adorn themselves. They have no choice. They must let them adorn themselves, not with elaborate hairstyles, not with perishable silver and gold, but with the meekness of a quiet and gentle spirit. That is where beauty lies. That is the epicenter of beauty, not outwardly, but inside. If I live with the Lord in real experience, and I ask Him for something and He does not give it to me, there is only one reason. Not that He thinks or assumes. Forgive me, I misspoke. He knows it is not for my good. Either not at all, or I am not ready yet. And what should be done then? Change yourself. Change yourself.